The following is a presentation of Santa Monica College.
We welcome you to homecoming weekend at Corsairs Stadium for a divisional matchup between the Santa Monica College Corsairs and the Allan Hancock Bulldogs. Paul Johnson on the horn here with Scott Lieberman for an American Pacific matchup. Scott, this is going to be a tough test for the Corsairs as they currently sit at 2-4 on the season. What can they do to make life difficult for the division-leading Bulldogs tonight?
Well, it's interesting you asked that, Paul. Last week, the Corsairs came back from a 14-0 deficit against LA Harbor College, won that game 23-17 final score. Coach Ledwith had said, just the scoreboard's for the fans.
Right.
Play each play, and impose your will on the other team, and I think that's what they have to do to this Bulldog offense and defense.
Right, and Coach Ledwith noted that he wants the team to attack. For Allan Hancock, real quick here, what do they have to do to keep their momentum rolling?
Well, like you said, they're a 5-1 team, and that's no accident either. They are a ground and pound, old school style, smash mouth football running team, and as long as they continue to do that, they should have no problems winning this game. And for those of you folks who don't know what a Corsair is, it is a pirate. And make no mistake, we are 2 miles from the ocean, and that's no accident either, folks.
We're going to take it down to the action on the field here, folks. Should be a good one.
Indeed.
We welcome you folks to homecoming weekend at Corsair Stadium for a divisional matchup between the Santa Monica College Corsairs and the Allan Hancock Bulldogs. Corsairs are starting it with a kickoff to the Bulldogs. Tristan Durfee with a great return for Allan Hancock. They'll start it at about the 45-yard line.
Great field position.
And last week, Scott, both these teams coming off of overtime victories, both of the teams down 14-0 in their respective games. A critical matchup today.
Indeed. I think whichever team punches first, strikes first, and shows the most no remorse is going to get it done.
Absolutely. Bulldogs coming out in that 22 personnel. Number 4, Stephen Schoten starting at quarterback for Allan Hancock. Flag on the play.
False start to begin.
That'll back the Bulldogs up 5 yards. It'll be 1st and 15 from the 39-yard line.
I got to say, Paul, that whenever some team gets backed up, it really takes even more discipline to get that line steady and square and ready to go.
Especially with the Bulldogs, Scott, being a running team, to get behind the chains so early, it's tough. Tight end number 34 comes in motion. Raheem Skinner on the carry. Jordan Lawrence is there with the stop.
Tight end is quite a blocker there. That's what makes him such a great rushing team, is their tight end's big, bold, and square, and when he gets to it, making those blocks opens the holes for the running backs.
And they like to utilize that number 34, Miles Minnis, motion him to wherever side they're trying to run to. And here is 2nd down. The give is to Skinner up the middle. He powers through for about 13 or 14 hard running yards.
That's what makes him a great rushing team, folks.
Skinner made All Pacific League Conference last year as a freshman. Their leading rusher for the Bulldogs this year at about 725 yards, 6 touchdowns coming into today.
Remarkable numbers. Definitely fantasy worthy too.
Absolutely. And folks, Stephen Schoten actually hasn't been the starting quarterback. It's been number 7, Thomas Carr, but Schoten got the nod today. A little more on that. Jaden Vargas wrapped up. Looks like it'll be 4th down for the Bulldogs. Great stop by the Corsairs.
All right, now in a field position like this, do you go for it on the 4th and short, or do you punt it?
I think with a running team like this, they're just going to go for it.
Right. Got to put in that extra blocker. Make it happen.
They're bringing back in their starting tailback, Raheem Skinner, and ready to go for this one.
All right. This could set the tone for the game, folks.
4th down and about 1. The give is to Skinner, and he gets it.
Looks like he got it indeed.
O-line pushes the pile there for Skinner to get the yards he needed. Going back to the quarterback situation, Thomas Carr, number 7, their starter all year, got hurt at the end of last week's game against Pasadena City before they went into overtime. And in overtime, it was number 4, Steven Shoten, that played, and he's starting today.
We certainly put on a show, like his last name.
Timeout on the field by the Bulldogs. And coming into today at 2-4 on the season, Scott, what are you looking for from Santa Monica College in this matchup?
I'm really looking for them to fight back just as they did last week against LA Harbor College. They were down 14-0 and came back and won by a final score of 23-17. As long as they can keep that momentum and ride Coach Ledwith's credo with the scoreboard being for the fans, not just for the players, and just sticking to each play to play, stay in the zone, and do your job.
Right. I think one of the keys to the game is stopping the rush. Allan Hancock coming into today averaging about 270 rush yards per game, and the Corsairs are giving up about 250. So that's going to be the telltale sign of this game, which way it favors.
Sure thing. And you know what they say, defenses win you championships.
Absolutely, exactly. J.J. Ramirez, the wideout here on this play for the Bulldogs. The give again is to Skinner. Run right side for about 6-7 tough yards.
This kid is very impressive, riding right up the middle. He's got what it takes.
Skinner, as we mentioned, the biggest back for this team, but they have a number with Jaden Vargas at number 1 and Joe Guzman at number 25 as well that they gave the rock to. They like to spread it around here on Allan Hancock's side.
Sure thing, definitely. And when you have a running back by committee, you can definitely get those change of pace backs to get those extra yards for you.
Run by Vargas on 2nd down for about 8 yards. Will be a 1st down at the 28-yard line for the Bulldogs.
Ground and pound, that's what it's all about.
And that's what they want to do with this team. Coming out in that 22 personnel, 2 tight ends, 2 running backs, they want to play smash mouth football.
For sure. And what I was alluding to earlier, when you have those change of pace backs, you just have a ton of weaponry on your team, and you can just keep piling up the score as well as the yards.
Exactly. With that big offensive line, too, they're able to just manhandle the opposition. Stop for a short gain there on the play. Player to look out for on the Corsair defense, number 15, Jordan Lawrence. Averages about 12 tackles per game. He's their best player on that side of the ball. After this year, he's looking to play Division I ball somewhere, maybe USC, UCLA, Cal Berkeley, Hawaii in the mix. He wants to play big-time Division I ball.
Possibly University of Miami, folks. Yeah, I read about this kid earlier. He's great. He's what coaches and scouts look for.
Give again is to Skinner. Skinner bumps it up to about the 9 or 8 yard line. Big gain on the play by Skinner.
As I was saying a little bit ago, Jordan Lawrence, he's the type of player scouts and coaches look for with that type of focus and determination, and an impressive 12.5 tackles a game. Is that what we were saying?
Yeah, he fills up the stat sheet on that
Very
side.
impressive.
Jordan Lawrence out of New Rochelle, New York. Timeout on the field. Called by the Corsairs, their first taken this half. Bulldogs have it, 1st and goal at the 9 yard line.
So what kind of plays are you looking for here on a 1st and goal by the Bulldogs? Are they going to continue rushing it up the middle, or are they going to spread it around with their wide receivers?
You'd think they're just going to run it up the middle again with Skinner or Vargas. They love those 2 backs.
And that's a testament to the offensive line, too. You know, it's not just the running backs. As long as you have an offensive line that splits the lanes for you to run up the middle, they're the guys you're going to want to take out to dinner later because they're also saving you.
Absolutely. And get the Christmas presents for.
Exactly. Maybe a car or something.
Yeah. Skinner with 7 touchdowns on the year. Jaden Vargas is a freshman with 6 touchdowns on the year. And they also have another running back, a bruiser, Isaac Bosley, that they like to use. He has 5 touchdowns on the year. So they really spread it around to these running backs. Vargas is in there to get the carry. First and goal for the Bulldogs. Vargas runs the right side.
That
Tackle
was a
made.
Pretty nice cutback he made there. Didn't get all the way, but definitely good vision up the field.
Tackle made by Jelani Blade there. The safety came in and made that play at about the 5-yard line.
What's great, too, about a rushing team like this in Allan Hancock College is that they're able to control the clock, too, and the momentum throughout the game. As long as you can control the clock, you keep the other offense off the field, you have a better shot at winning this game.
Skinner in there now on 2nd and goal from the 5-yard line. He gets the carry. Takes it right up the gut. And a Bulldog touchdown to start off this game on the first drive. They lead it 6-0.
That's pay dirt for you, folks.
That was pretty easy for them on that first drive, wasn't it?
Yeah, like I just said, they're controlling the momentum of this game. They're controlling the clock. They're controlling the ball flow. They continue doing this. It's going to be a long day for Santa Monica.
Hector Gil Garcia on to attempt the point after. Hector, a sophomore out of Santa Maria, California.
And it's good.
Bulldogs lead it 7-0.
I'm kind of wondering if a ball has ever been kicked into the parking lot back there.
Could come close. Maybe hit that.
Maybe hit a Cadillac or something.
I don't think.
Win the car?
Yeah. Is that how that works?
That's how that works. That's how it should work.
Corsairs will be receiving this kickoff. Quarterback Paul Davis will trot out there for the Corsairs. He didn't start the last game against Los Angeles Harbor, but came on to finish and threw the game-winning touchdown pass to Trevor Nafoya in overtime to win that one. Scott, both teams here 1-0 in conference play. Allan Hancock won the division, the American Pacific, last year. And Coach Ledwith kind of noted that the road to the American Pacific title goes through Allan Hancock.
Well, there's no better game than this to be played than there is there, Paul. This is the type of game where you really want to make a statement early, which Allan Hancock clearly did. Those Bulldogs are ready to roll. Let's see what Santa Monica does.
Hector Garcia to kick off at the 35-yard line. Dejan Everett back deep to return for the Corsairs. Good return there on the Corsairs.
Another good piece of field position for the Corsairs.
Return there by Trevor Nafoya. Out to about the 32-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 there. The Corsairs will start.
What do you foresee the Corsairs doing on this drive? Are they going to mix it up a little bit, or are they going to try and beat the Bulldogs at their own game?
You'd think that they wouldn't want to get out of their game and just get into a total passing offense. So I see them giving the rock to Christoph Hirota early here to try to get their momentum moving in this game. Dejan Everett, a big wide receiver at the near side of your screen, 6'4", 200. Paul Davis, pass to Nafoya. Little to no gain on that one on 1st and 10.
That Dejan Everett, he is the height that everybody dreams of seeing and playing with. He's got that red zone height where you just want to throw the ball up for grabs and let him do the rest.
Oh, yeah. Big-time player out of Philadelphia. Freshman this year. Trevor Nafoya subs out. It'll be 2nd down and 9 for the Corsairs with Christoph Hirota in the backfield. Cameron Albritton playing the fullback position today. Give is to, sorry, that was a fake. Maybe they should have gave that one.
Trying for the old school play action play there.
Couldn't get it set up.
You need to have that extra blocker up front to block those extra attackers, and that's how you make those successful plays, and they just let them right through the hole there.
Yeah, Bulldogs came storming through that offensive line with ease.
Like a bunch of Bulldogs.
It'll be 3rd down and long for the Corsairs. This is not the ideal position for them on their opening drive, Scott.
No, sir. They're going the opposite way of what they should be doing. But let's see what they do on this play.
That's Brandon Collins in motion. Pass incomplete out about the 35-yard line. Intended for Jaden McBride, but they weren't able to connect.
4th down, it brings up the punt. Not a way you want to start a game, right, Paul?
Not at all. Giving up an opening drive touchdown and then not able to do anything. Actually, in fact, lose about 7 yards in your first drive. Not encouraging from the Corsairs to start.
Definitely not, especially with the way these Bulldogs are running the ball.
Right. They'll run it down your throat. Just gets the punt off there. Actually goes down at the end.
Oh, it gets a Santa Monica bounce.
Alex Ketchy didn't want to catch that for the Bulldogs and will let it go out of bounds. John Ribas on the punt there.
Paul, what do you want to see on this drive from the Bulldogs? Now that they rode the ball on the ground the first drive, do they stick with their ground plan, or do they air it out and try and blow this game wide open right away?
With the backup quarterback in Schoten in there right now, they're just going to keep it on the ground to Skinner, Vargas, or Bosley, whoever's in there, whoever they want to give the ball to. With that big offensive line, they just want to run it right, run it left, and come back at you, run it up the gut. The give is to Skinner. He rumbles forward for about 14 yards.
Makes it look easy, folks.
That's what I was just going to say. Easy yardage there for Skinner. I mean,
it's like playing Madden on the novice mode. You just get right through those holes with ease. Santa Monica's got to make that wall and block.
Corsairs' key player on the defensive line is Victor Rivera, a freshman. He actually blocked the field goal last week against LA Harbor in overtime to help them get that victory. 1st and 10 for the Bulldogs at the 44-yard line.
Again, another run.
Running the option, able to scoot away and scoot up for about 15 to 16 yards.
Looks like it may be a long day for the Corsairs, Paul.
You're going to have to start penetrating that offensive line, Scott. Right now they're just getting no push up front. Again, this is a conference matchup, American Pacific League, so it's a big-time game for both teams. Homecoming for Santa Monica College. Jaden Vargas is in there at tailback. Originally looked like a little miscommunication, maybe a mishandled snap, but Schoten able to rumble for about 8 yards on 1st down there.
He can do it all. He can throw. He can throw. He can run.
He can hand off to Skinner, Vargas, or Bosley.
Like I said earlier, he's got all the weapons he needs to make this a successful day.
It'll be 2nd down and about 2 for the Bulldogs. Schoten under center. Give is to Vargas up the middle. Vargas pops it outside, about 10 yards on that play.
As long as Vargas continues dancing around like that, no one's going to hit him, no one's going to tackle him. The greatest thing you can ask for in a running back is that elusiveness, that speed, something that Barry Sanders had way back in the day when he was playing.
Absolutely. I think Vargas would be honored to hear that compliment. Maybe tell that to some Division I coaches for him.
If I had a megaphone right now, I'd probably call it out. Although I don't think the Santa Monica fans here would highly appreciate that.
1st down and 10 for the Bulldogs at the 21-yard line. Give is to Bosley. That's the bruiser we were talking about. Was all second team All Pacific League Conference last year as a freshman. He is a bigger back for them, kind of a change of pace back, that thunder and lightning with Bosley, Vargas, and Skinner.
That is a modest 2-3 yard gain for this Bulldogs rushing team compared to what they've been doing all day.
Bosley will stay in there at running back, excuse me. Jacob Rodas playing that fullback position for the Bulldogs. The give is to Bosley, but he is met at the line of scrimmage. Big hit there by Jordan Lawrence.
You know, I got to say, I think they should mix it up a little bit, especially being in the just outside of the red zone. I think they should mix it up, maybe start throwing the ball, catch these Corsairs off guard a little bit.
They throw it about 10 to 15 times a game, average about 100, 110 passing yards a game. You'd like to see it. They have the big wideouts. They have J.J. Ramirez at the top of your screen. We'll see what they do here on third down. They're going to rumble again. Pitch it to Bosley, and he gets tripped up at the 22-yard line.
It's no doubt they're greatly impressive on the ground. I just would like to see a little more throwing and see what they could bring to that as well.
Kicking team is coming on for the Bulldogs to attempt this one. It'll be Hector Gil Garcia from about 36 yards. Great plays there by the Corsairs on that little series too.
Oh yeah, great stand, and this hopefully will get some momentum for them going into their next offensive drive.
And this isn't a gimme field goal from the left hash from about 36 yards. This is going to be tough for Gil Garcia.
Punches it right through.
Very nice looking kick there by Garcia. Bulldogs up 10-0 in this one.
Yeah, I have to say your kicker is definitely your wild card player, because you know when it comes down to the final seconds of the game, who else are you going to ask for to win you that game by the 2 or 3 points you need to close this game out by?
Such a pivotal position in
lots of pressure
in college football, high school football, even the NFL. Some NFL teams can't find a reliable kicker.
It's become so pressuresome that coaches are now freezing the kickers before they kick the ball to try and throw them off guard.
Hector Gil Garcia will kick this one off for the Bulldogs. Trevor Nafoa and Dejan Averet will be back for the Corsairs to receive. It's a good crowd here today, Scott. About 200-300 people. It's homecoming weekend. The cheerleaders are out. We got a band that's coming out at halftime. It's a good environment here.
Well, I think win or lose, Paul, most of all, you got this beautiful scenery. You got the San Bernardino Mountains right in front of us, surrounded by the Hollywood Hills, and then behind us we have the ocean. You cannot get snow and beach in the same day in most places, but here in sunny California, all bets are off.
We're lucky here. We're fortunate, as Gil Garcia will kick this one off for the Bulldogs. Good kick there by Garcia to Dejan Averet. He takes it at the 5-yard line. Dejan with a good return out to the 31-yard line for the Corsairs.
I'm looking for them to start strong and continue moving the ball down the field. The Corsairs need to get something going. As I said on the last drive, they had a great stop holding the Bulldogs to a field goal. They need to get something going here to get some momentum and points on the board.
It'd be big for them to get the ball to Hirota, I think, at running back. They need to feed him. He's averaging 70 yards per game, one of the best players on their offense. I think they need to feed him early instead of trying to do play-action screen game. They come out at the I formation, Hirota the back.
Yeah, a lot of teams early, they like to try and get cute with their trick plays and everything, but just keep it simple, stupid, as they call it, and everything else will fall into place.
Exactly. Give is to Hirota. Tries to get something, but only a couple yards there on the carry. It'll be second down and about 9 for the Corsairs. Clock is rolling.
I'm really interested in seeing this Dejan Averet make some plays too. You know, give him a chance to go for the ball in order to move the ball downfield. He's a big player, big playmaker, and they need to utilize him as such. There he is on the outside.
Top of your screen is Dejan Everett. 5 seconds to go in the quarter. They won't get this one off. They want to switch sides of the field.
And that is the first quarter, folks.
Bulldogs lead it here 10-0 at Corsairs Stadium. What did you see there, Scott, in the first quarter from the Bulldogs?
Well, I saw a predominantly Bulldog-affiliated quarter. They definitely dominated at the line of scrimmage. Obviously, their defense held the Corsairs' opening drive. Now the Corsairs have a drive of their own. After stalling the Bulldogs to just a field goal on the last drive, I think they need to do something with this and make a statement that this is our home field and, you know, we're not going to take getting dominated.
It's a big possession. I mean, only the second quarter, but already down 10-0. They need to do something here, you'd think. At least move the ball past the first down to move the chains a couple times.
Yeah, I think with a team that likes to control the clock, such as the Bulldogs, you got to take every opportunity that is at your hand to do it, to move the ball, to score. And with a rushing team like the Bulldogs, when you're predominantly a rushing team like them, it's hard for a team like that to come down from a deficit because they don't pass as much.
And they'll just control that ball, control that clock. They'll milk it on you, folks. That was a fast-moving first quarter. It'll be second down and about 9 or 10 for the Corsairs. Trevor Nafoa comes in motion. Screen out. They tried to get it out to Dejan Everett.
It's a good thing for these Corsairs that was not a backwards pass, because if it were, that would have been a fumble turned the other way.
Scary one there on an inaccurate pass by Paul Davis. Quarterback Paul Davis, actually from University High School right up the road on Bundy.
Think he has any family in the crowd tonight, Paul?
I'm sure. He lives at home, but he took a little bit of a journey to get here, Scott. Went to Bethune-Cookman College in Daytona Beach for a year, redshirted there. The coaching staff changed, so he came back home, came to Santa Monica College to play some football.
They say there's no place like home.
Paul Davis drops back. Intended for Trevor Nafoa, almost caught there by Nafoa at the 43-yard line.
That's the type of pass you want for the big number 7, Dejan Everett, folks.
This is a good ball there by Paul Davis.
It was a great throw, definitely just solid coverage by the Bulldogs.
Alex Checky there on the coverage for the Bulldogs. He's back to return the punt. John Ribas will be punting for the Corsairs on 4th down. Corsairs not able to get even a yard on that one, Scott. They are coming after him, but Ryback
just like the last punt.
Alex Ketchy, fair catches that one at the 46-yard line. Bulldogs will take over.
This game has become a game of field position, Paul, and as long as the Corsairs keep this up, they're just going to keep giving Bulldogs a chance at points, and whether it's field goals or touchdowns, with the way the momentum is shifting, it's the Bulldogs' game to lose.
And a flag on the Bulldogs running into the kicker.
Oh.
Now, I don't think the referees may...
We got to see if it was incidental or not. If it was incidental contact, that's a yardage penalty. If it was intentional and blatant, then that should be a turnover. Or
referee's
rather,
going to spot the ball at the 42-yard line.
Keep the ball.
They've not signaled which direction it'll be going, though. As Scott said there, the difference is running into the kicker or roughing the kicker. That's what we're looking for here. Timeout on the field. So it looks like we won't get that answer for a couple minutes here, Scott. Sorry there.
You know, Bulldogs I hate to wait, out. Paul.
Bulldogs offense does come out, so it must have just been running into the kicker, and they moved it back a couple of yards.
All right, folks. Nonetheless, the Bulldogs have a great field position right here to do what they want. They obviously have their tailbacks in and ready to roll.
Jaden Vargas is in there at tailback for the Bulldogs. Steven Schoten still playing quarterback If you missed it, folks, Thomas Carr looks to be out today. The starting quarterback for Allan Hancock, and the backup, Stephen Schoten, has played well. Rumbled, had a few good rushes there on the option.
And that's just a call to their depth chart, too. When you go down the depth chart, next man up mentality, that's the type of team that wins games.
Exactly. Schoten here with a pass. Out to Jacob Genovese.
You know, I always say, Paul, you don't try and win the game on one play in the beginning. As they say, slow and steady wins the race. Little dink and dunk passes such as that is going to help you move the ball down the field and give you a chance to put points on the board rather than just outright bombing it.
Very easy pass and catch. Good run there by Genovese to pick up the first down. Raheem Skinner is the tailback on this play. And they'll actually put Bosley in that halfback position right in front of Skinner to lead the way for the big back. They'll fake it to Skinner.
Can't be dropping passes like that, Paul. That is stuff that really frustrates your quarterback. It frustrates your coaches, especially when both of you are in line with each other.
That one was right on the money to Miles Minnis, but he just dropped that one right there. That'll stop the clock. It'll be 2nd down and 10 for the Bulldogs.
You know, Paul, I have a question for you, actually. There's a soccer field that's painted on this football field as well. Do you think that those lines in the soccer field ever confuse the football players while they're playing?
To my personal knowledge, it doesn't, because I played with the same thing with the soccer lines, and it didn't. But maybe to some players, it could get in their heads. Jaden Vargas there on the carry. Corsairs able to stop him. Michael Strong there on the tackle, first man to the ball.
Yeah, I always wondered that. Got me thinking, and it's good to hear another point of view about that.
I think most of these guys are just trying to hit the man in front of them.
Sure thing, definitely. I grew up with a little ADHD, so I'm the guy that gets distracted by the yellow lines.
Gotcha. It'll be 3rd down and 6 for the Bulldogs. Raheem Skinner is the back here. Jacob Rodas will be the fullback for him, try to lead the way. Skinner rumbles forward for about 5-6 yards, right up to that marker.
Very close to that 1st down marker. They may take a measurement here.
Even if it is a 4th down, though, which it looks to be.
You go for it. The way you've been running the ball all day,
right.
You go for it. If I'm the coach, we're going for this, guys.
And they're just subbing in and subbing out Vargas and Skinner, keeping each one fresh. Vargas, the tailback, on this critical 4th down play. Stop here would be big for the Corsairs. Give is to Vargas. He goes right side.
They get that 1st down.
Easy yardage there for about a 5-6 yard gain. Vargas on the carry. It'll be 1st down and 10 for the Bulldogs at the 36-yard line. Excuse me, the 31-yard line.
From this point on, I expect to see them running the ball a little bit more. It's what's been working for them. In a situation like this, maybe a few more dink and dunks, moving the ball up, down into the red zone, and then at that point, punching it in.
Skinner back in for the Bulldogs. Jacob Rodas at that fullback position. Toss right to Skinner. He finds the edge. Easy little 13 yards there for Skinner. Tackle made by Kyle Boyd.
Skinner's a big body squared style back that also has the speed. That is the prototypical running back that you look for.
Low to the ground too, only 5'9", but 220, 230 pound back. He's a big old boy.
I do not want to be the guy standing in front of him, that is for sure.
No, you're not wrong. Jaden Vargas back in the game for the Bulldogs. Line up in the I formation, play action, over the top.
Oh.
Touchdown for the Bulldogs to Rashid Beecham. A 16-yard strike from Stephen Schoten.
In nearly double coverage, no less, by the Corsairs. They could not knock the ball away.
Great pass there from Schoten right up the seam. Gave it a little loft for Beecham to see that one, and he corralled it and brought it in for the touchdown. Hector Gil Garcia on to attempt the point after. It's 16-0 Bulldogs.
I think at this point, as a if you're a Bulldog fan, you'd like to see your team punch it in for a 2-point conversion.
You're just getting greedy now on me, Scott.
You know, there's an old saying, you play to win the game.
17-0 Bulldogs. Corsairs are in a bit of trouble here right now in the second quarter. They need something explosive.
I think they need a call for the big play. Like I said before, you don't come out and try to win the game on your first drive right away, but now that the Bulldogs have set the momentum and the tempo, Corsairs got to respond with a big play, something that gets the momentum going, gets the players involved, gets the coaches fired up, and that really resonates with the team.
Dejana Verrett and Trevor Nafoa will be back for the Corsairs. Hector Gil Garcia will kick this one off for Allan Hancock. Verrett and Nafoa have had some good returns this game to about the 34 and the 40-yard line respectively.
Agreed. And once their offense gets on the field, they got to carry that momentum to the other side.
That's been the problem right here, Scott. Offense just hasn't been able to do anything. Kick into the end zone there. It'll be a touchback for the Corsairs.
Touchback. The ball will be spotted at the 20-yard line. Will be first down.
It'll be 1st and 10 for the Corsairs at the 20-yard line.
And that's the difference between college and the pros, folks, is that on a touchback in college, you bring the ball back to the 20-yard line. Wait, is it the 25 or the 20 that they're bringing it to?
At the 25, sorry.
They're bringing it to the 25? Okay. It used to be the 20-yard line, then they moved it up 5 yards.
Paul Davis still trotting out for the Corsairs. He was brought in late last week for the win against LA Harbor. Jack Farringer got the nod on that one, but we have seen no sign of Farringer today. Low snap there.
And there's a flag on the field. What do we have here?
Sacked there by a host of Bulldogs. Looks like it may be holding on the Corsairs, thrown in that direction.
Which is normally the call in the backfield, folks. Anytime there's a call by the line, you see a flag around there, chances are it is an offensive holding call. And that just really kills your team, especially with the way the momentum has been going with the Bulldogs. That is not good for the Corsairs.
It will be holding on the Corsairs. Declined by Bulldog head coach Chris Dutra. Dutra in his 18th season led the Bulldogs to an American Pacific title last year in 2017, was named American Pacific Coach of the Year. Very accomplished coach there for Allan Hancock, Scott.
And of course you decline this penalty, Paul. Anytime you get a chance to get a team into 4th down, that's when you got to make your move.
Corsairs here on 2nd down.
Oh, it's 2nd down.
Little bobbled pitch there.
I was reading 4th on the scoreboard, folks.
Raymond Washington not able to handle that one, but finally gets it and rumbles for about a yard. It'll be 3rd and long, and the Corsairs have not even gotten a 1st down yet today, Scott. They need something.
They need at least a yard for any positive momentum to happen. It would seem at this point. 15 would be nice too.
Paul Davis will be lining up under center in the I formation. Christoph Hirota the back. They may just give this one to Hirota, get out of dodge. The give is to Hirota. He rumbles ahead to about the 24-yard line, the original line of scrimmage.
Looks like that was their biggest gain of the day on the ground.
Not what you like when it's 3rd and 17. Not to be your biggest gain of the day. Corsairs will punt this one. It'll be John Ribas. Alex Ketchy is back for the Bulldogs, standing at about the 50-yard line, giving Allan Hancock great field position again, Scott. They are coming after Ribas, but he's able to get off one. A decent punt.
Oh,
rolls
but it
back.
takes a Bulldog bounce.
Very bad luck there for
In
the
Corsair
Corsairs.
territory, too.
Bulldogs will take over at the 41-yard line, folks. It'll be 1st down and 10 for Stephen Schoten and company.
College 41 first down, the Allen Hancock from there.
First down and 10. Schoten on the pass. Out complete to Spencer Poole. He rumbles to about the 27-yard line. Tackle made by Jelani Blade. It'll be 1st down for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, they're bringing the ball in the air right now. Like I said earlier, they are switching it up a little bit. Now I feel like they can do pretty much whatever they want at this point with the way Corsairs have been moving the ball.
Right, and Jaden Vargas is in for the Bulldogs, relieving Raheem Skinner. Ball on the ground.
We see a fumble.
Think the Bulldogs may have hopped on that one as Jaden Vargas fumbled.
Okay. Yes, it looks like the Bulldogs recovered it, folks.
Timeout here for Allan Hancock.
How do you know how many yards are left to go?
I just counted myself.
Are you serious? Yeah. Because I was looking at the scoreboard. I thought it would. Yeah.
Bulldogs still leading this one 17-0. Gonna have a 2nd down and about 11 when they get back on the field.
Yep, they are driving. And if I know anything about driving in this city, it's very tough. But apparently today they found no traffic, did they, Paul?
None at all, Scott. There's really been no penetration from that Corsair defensive line. You'd like to see something from defensive tackle Victor Rivera, one of the key players on that defense, and linebacker Jordan Lawrence, number 15. We haven't been able to see it, though, yet. Schoten under center for the Bulldogs, and Jaden Vargas is the tailback after that recovered fumble. Flag on the play.
Yes.
Schoten rumbling, though, up the sideline.
And
gets in there for the score.
Too, and a score. We got a bunch of things going on here.
2 flags on the play. I think this one's coming back, folks. Great run there, though, from Schoten. Right up the sideline, right into the end zone, but looks like this one's coming back.
His new nickname is the Show-Tin.
Schoten taking over from Thomas Carr. Carr has started for the Bulldogs all year. Got injured late in that Pasadena City College game last week. Original flag is offsides on the defense. And there's also a holding on the Bulldogs.
And those penalties normally offset, making
like
it a replay of the down.
Looks like they'll bring that one back actually a little bit, Scott. Excuse me. Looks like they're spotting it at the original line of scrimmage.
Yeah, they're going back and then
everybody's
forth.
going back.
Everybody's
forwards,
a little back and forth here. Just like me earlier with looking at the scoreboard versus like the field.
It'll be 2nd down and 11 for the Bulldogs. Replay that down. Both tight ends come up. Timeout on the field by Allan Hancock. Coach Chris Dutra is hot right now, yelling at his offense.
If I'm the coach of the Bulldogs and if I'm the coach of the Corsairs, what are you saying to your team right now, Paul? What do you think both sides are talking about?
Corsairs just keep fighting. You just got to hit the man in front of you. try to get off your block, make the play. These running backs are hard to handle. They are big boys running behind a big offensive line and a fullback that's leading them. So I just try to tell my Corsair players, get off the block and try to make a play.
For sure.
For Allan Hancock, keep doing what you're doing.
Keep doing what you're
That's
doing.
all you need to say.
Don't change the game plan.
Schoten back out at quarterback. Jaden Vargas is the tailback. Isaac Bosley will be in that fullback position. They have an array of talent in that backfield, Scott.
It's been an amazing day for them, Paul.
Toss left to Vargas. A lot of running room for him. He'll race. He'll go into the end zone. Touchdown, Bulldogs, as a couple Corsair players fall.
Another score. Mr. Vargas is on fire today. That man can run. He can escape the tackles.
He's a shifty back there with that 28-yard scamper.
I mean, I felt the dust coming up from the ground from his feet right up all the way here.
He was breaking ankles out there, and Hector Gil Garcia will be on for the point after. Bulldogs lead it 23-0.
Oh.
Squeaked that one through there.
And it is good, just good.
By the skin of his teeth there, Gil Garcia.
As a spectator, when you're looking from this vantage point, you don't know if that goes through or not based on the angle. And as you can see down on the sidelines, the cheerleaders still have a lot of school spirit in them.
Well, let's hope that translates to the actual field.
I couldn't agree with you more.
It's been nothing but Bulldogs here to start, folks.
24-0 first half. Not the type of start you want from the Corsairs.
And it'll be Achille Warren Jr. spelling Dejana Verrett back deep for the Corsairs along with Trevor Nafoa. Cade England will be kicking this one off, spelling Gil Garcia himself. Kicking off at the 35-yard line. That one goes into the end zone. Trevor Nafoa takes a knee. It'll be out at the 25-yard line for the Corsairs. Scott, we still haven't seen any sign of backup quarterback who started last game against LA Harbor, Jack Farringer, the freshman, number 14. And with the Corsairs not even able to gain many yards at all, or one, or a first down, you think we'll see him today at some point?
I'm not sure, but they need that next man up mentality like the Bulldogs and their situation as their starting quarterback is not in right now. The Corsairs need to take note and execute.
Hirota gets the ball. Hesitates there for a couple of seconds. Rumbles forward for about 4. It'll be 2nd down and 6.
And I don't think running it on the ground at this point when you're down 24-0 in the first half is going to get it done. You got to spread the ball out a little more. Use your playmakers. That's why they're playmakers. You got to do the short passes, let them move up the field, let them follow their blocks, do whatever they can. Do not play it safe. I mean, you're not even playing it safe at this point because you're down 24-0 anyways.
Raymond Washington is the back here, number 32 on 2nd down for the Corsairs. Paul Davis, screen pass out to Chris Nickerson, gain of a couple.
And in a game like this, when you're down 24-0, Paul, throwing it in the flat, sideline to sideline like that is also not going to get it done. You need to get a vertical game going, especially with your tall receivers, your tight ends, maybe get a running back coming out from the backfield as a pass catcher.
Just haven't been able to get much of anything, though. Run or pass. It's been tough all the way around, tough sledding. Clock is moving. We're at 6 minutes to go in the second quarter. Bulldogs lead at 24-0 on 3rd down and about 7 for the Corsairs. Nickerson comes in motion. Davis takes the snap in shotgun. Great pass there by Davis
and
to Jaden McBride.
Flag on top. Are they going to get an extra yardage here?
think that one may be pass interference on the defense.
Oh, yeah. This is what I was alluding to earlier, Paul. They took a big chance, they took a big pass, and it finally paid off.
Great pass and catch there by Davis to Nickerson. Excuse me, McBride on the catch there.
Ball spotted at the Allan Hancock 46, where it'll be first down.
First down for the Corsairs, coming out in the spread formation.
Okay. This is where it starts, Paul. This is where your momentum starts to build.
Hirota to the right. Hirota takes the handoff, rumbles forward for about 6 tough yards up the middle.
Did I just see a mirror image of the Bulldogs offense in the Corsair image?
They were trying something a
They
little
were
bit
trying
similar.
something very
Smash
similar.
mouth concept
Smash
for sure.
mouth concept, and the not quite the first down, but they definitely got major positive yards out of that play, folks.
I mean, if you can get 6 yards on first down, you're ahead of the chains.
Oh, yeah.
You're doing well. It'll be 2nd down and 4 for the Corsairs. Paul Davis under center here. Christoph Hirota the back. Give is to Hirota. Nothing doing, but he gets a
Makes
little.
a little something
about
out
a
of
couple
nothing right
yards.
there. Yeah, you didn't go down that easy. You got to keep churning those legs till those whistles blow.
Great play there from Hirota to get something out of nothing. About 2 yards on that play. It'll bring up 3rd and 2 for the Corsairs. A big 3rd down for this Corsair team, folks. They need something.
And this is 4-down territory for them, Paul. At a situation like this, you're late in the 2nd quarter. You got another half of football to go. You got to go for it if 4th down comes up.
They come out in the all 5 wide look here. Hirota to the left of the quarterback in the slot position. Davis takes it, no time, able to scramble away for a second, but ultimately brought down by Raymond Paolo.
Looked like a loss of 7 right there.
Paolo with a great sack there for the Bulldogs to take. The Corsairs can't even think about going for it on 4th down now.
No, that was under the assumption they would get positive yardage on that following play. It would have just been better off just falling forward and then having a better shot at going for it on a 4th down.
Don't know how much that 5 wide look made sense on a 3rd and 2, Scott. Don't know if that was the correct one.
Another
John
close
Ribas
one
with the
there.
punt. Good roll here for the Corsairs. It'll go out at the 5-yard line. Is a flag on the play.
Up by John Rivas, goes out of bounds.
A lot of flags today, I must say.
It'll be 1st and 10 for Allan.
They're throwing them.
There.
They're throwing the laundry on the field. It's homecoming weekend. Waiting to hear the call from the ref. Paul Davis talking to his offensive lineman. You wonder what he's saying to them. Just give me a little more time. Give me a couple more seconds back there. I can find somebody. I can find that Dejan Everett. I can find Nafoa. Come on, guys.
Those are the players I was looking out for today before the game, Paul, and they just have not been getting them the ball.
We saw that one big completion to Jaden McBride on the left sideline, but other than that, there hasn't been much for the Corsair offense.
2:50 on the clock, frozen on halftime.
And if there was any shot at them making a move today, that drive was it. And then on 3rd down, those loss of yardage really set them back a little bit.
Exactly. They're actually going to re-kick this one. John Ribas coming back out for the Corsairs. Still 4th down. Didn't see the call from the ref, but I think that one may have been offsides. Excuse me, illegal formation on the Corsairs as they'll move that ball back about 5 yards.
I'll tell you what, Paul, it wouldn't surprise me if the Bulldogs get a block here with the way they've been coming at that punter today.
They're coming at him hard. There's 4 guys just absolutely in his grill as he's trying to get rid of that punt. Excuse me. Ribas here to kick. Coming after him again, not able to get there. Not a great kick there by Ribas. Only nets about 18 yards.
More good field position for those Bulldogs.
That's been the theme of the game here, Scott. Just Bulldogs taking over in plus territory almost every drive, it seems like.
It is their game to lose at this point. They can run the ball, they can do whatever they want with it, just as long as the clock's milking down.
Bulldogs will set up shop at the 34-yard line, 1st and 10. Raheem Skinner is the tailback. Jacob Rodas, the fullback for him, will be leading that into the hole.
Do you run your 2-minute offense right here and take it down to halftime, or do you try and get another score on the board right away?
I think they're going to be doing both situations.
Both
Probably
situations.
trying to get a touchdown with about 20 seconds to go. Little stoppage here on the field. Referee's waiting for a signal. And we're ready to play. Steve Schoten under center here for the Bulldogs. Play action.
Going for the big
He's
one.
going deep. He's got a man. Oh.
Overthrew him by a few inches right there.
He had Guzman, and they love giving the ball to Joe Guzman. Joe Guzman, the freshman running back / receiver out of Santa Maria, California. He had a step on the safety there, folks. Just over the reach of Guzman, though, by about 2 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 10 as the clock stopped there for the Bulldogs.
Looked like they were going for a score right away there without any messing around.
And, Scott, they had that score. Guzman had his man beat.
They really did.
Raheem
Accuracy is
Skinner,
everything.
the back in the offset eye. Rolling out. Gives it to Jacob Rodas. The big fullback rumbles ahead. Staying in bounds, will actually go out at the 46-yard line. Impressive catch and run there by Rodas.
I'll tell you what, these players that stay on their feet, man, they are well balanced and they just keep churning those yards out.
Rodas, a tough guy to tackle at 5'11", 205 pounds. Rodas himself out of Santa Maria, California, stayed close to home. Allan Hancock will have it in plus territory at the 46-yard line. It'll be 1st down and 10. Jaden Vargas is the back.
If I'm Santa Monica, I need to get a stop here. I don't want any more points going up on that board.
Toss right to Vargas. Vargas ahead for about 10, 12 yards there. Easy yardage for Vargas.
Vargas is making this game all his, as you can see with all these yards he's been churning out. He's able to run up, avoid those tackles, and just keep moving the ball for his Bulldogs.
Allan Hancock already at the 32-yard line. 1st down and 10. Raheem Skinner, the back. They're low in the right side of the offensive line.
Another toss.
Schoten finds his man. Great catch there by J.J. Ramirez to pull it in at the 5-yard line.
Looks like they're a little inside the 5 there, Paul.
Phenomenal
Or at
catch.
the 5, exactly,
Phenomenal
you're
catch
right.
there, Scott.
Great catch. Great hand-eye coordination right there. He was bobbling a little bit, but most important, he came down with that catch, setting up for a possible score.
1st down and goal for the Bulldogs. They shift the offensive line left. Raheem Skinner, the back. They'll give it to the big boy. He's going to rumble into the end zone untouched for a Bulldog touchdown.
This game's getting out of hand, Paul. I'll tell you what, I don't know what you're going to say to your players at halftime if you're the Santa Monica Corsairs, but normally I'm not at a loss for words, but this is something I just don't know what to say.
Folks, it's 30-0 at the end of the first half. It's a blowout here at Corsair Stadium. We'll see if the Corsairs can do anything to get back on the board and get in contention.
About to be 31, as long as he makes this kick.
As Gil Garcia is on to attempt the point after. Scott and Gil Garcia gets that one through. Scott, you mentioned at the beginning of that drive, you think they're going to run the 2-minute offense or try to score?
They tried to score.
I think they did a little bit of both.
A little bit of both. There's still 40.9 seconds left on the board before halftime. I don't know how much Santa Monica can do with the ball based on how they've played it so far today, but I think they just really wanted to come in and show who's boss.
Right. They absolutely have done that tenfold today. Trevor Nafoa and Achille Warren Jr. will be back.
And number 82, Achille Warren Jr. back for the Corsairs.
As the Bulldogs will kick off from the 35-yard line.
Paul, if you're Santa Monica College, what do you do here? Are you going to kneel it to go into the half, or are you going to try something with it?
I'd go up top. I'd go up top to Dejan Everett, Jaden McBride, Chris Nickerson. Try to get something. Maybe Trevor Nafoa. Try to get something right before half.
Got to get those playmakers involved if you want to win a game. And clearly that's what the Bulldogs have been doing all first half long.
Cade England with a boot there into the end zone. Trevor Nafoa just says no thank you.
Another touchback.
As Trevor had to get on that ball and make sure he called touchback. Corsairs will take over at the 25-yard line at 1st and 10 with 33 seconds to go in the second quarter.
You know, from a team perspective, you can't really give up hope. You got to always continue playing your game, play by play, just as Coach Ledwith had said, and you know, see what happens. You may win the game, you may not, but as long as you give it your A effort, that's what really counts at the end of the day.
Absolutely, Scott. Corsairs come out in an offset I formation. 2 receivers to the bottom of your screen. Dejan Everett, you can't see on your screen right now. Toss right to Hirota.
Tries a little cut back there, and a flag.
Flag comes flying in at the end of that play.
Looks like it may be on the Bulldogs.
That's what Paul Davis is signaling, saying move those chains. Looks like the flag is on Allan Hancock. A personal foul, face mask on the Bulldogs. 15 big yards there, 36 seconds on the clock. Scott.
Anything can happen here. Get a field goal, get a touchdown, whatever it takes. Get some points on the board. Go into halftime with a little momentum, and then you got yourself a little something coming back out.
After the assessment, balls will be spotted on the Santa Monica 42-yard line.
Clock is running, though. That's the only problem here for the Corsairs.
Yeah, you want to get your team fired up and fast to the line in order to get these plays off.
Right, Paul Davis checks the formation, taking his time, being a little deliberate here. Gives to Hirota. Nothing there for Hirota. Loss of 2 on the play.
Looks like the clock, it stops right now. We'll see what they do on this next one. But it continues to roll.
Corsairs call a timeout here. You wonder why they didn't try to pass that one over the top, go vertical on the Bulldogs, Scott.
What is the worst that can happen at this point?
Exactly. I mean, if you pass it down to the 30-yard line, that's essentially a decent punt the way John Rabbis has been kicking. So I think they got to go deep here. With 15.8 seconds to go, why not? You took a timeout. You're at the 40-yard line. Let's see Paul Davis sling it.
40-yard line is good field position for the time you have left. Throw it to the sideline, run out of bounds, set yourself up for a field goal. Whatever it takes to put some points on the board, you need something here to get something going for the second half.
Exactly. You got to go into the locker room feeling some type of positive momentum, you know. Paul Davis will be under center. Has 4 receivers, though. Dejan Everett at the bottom of your screen. Looks right. It'll be screen pass.
You get
out
some
to
yards
Achille Warren Jr. for about 9 yards.
Seeing some frustration down there on the Santa Monica sideline.
Coach Ledwith is hot there, talking to the head ump.
What do you think they're talking about, Paul?
I think Coach Ledwith wanted that clock stopped, as there's only 4 seconds on the clock right now. 4 seconds, definitely time for one play, but the Corsairs took over with 40 seconds to go in the half, and they've only run 3 plays, so you'd like to see more out of that clock management.
This is the time where, 4 seconds left in the first half is where you throw up a player to your best receiver, and clearly on paper and in person, it looks like it's Dejan Everett. You got that, big body, tall receiver. You can get that jump ball, come down with it possibly. You know, anything can happen at this point. You play with a nothing to lose approach, your chances are you're likely to get some success out of it.
Dejan Avera definitely, or Scott, maybe Jaden McBride going back to the well again for number 12. He reeled in that one on the left sideline earlier this game. Be a spread formation here for the Corsairs. 4 seconds to go. Looks like they're just going to try to get this one. Not able to even get the ball off.
Another day, same result. And another sack by that Bulldog defense.
Sack there by Kurt McDonald, the defensive back. We have halftime here at Santa Monica College. The Bulldogs lead it 31-0. It's been all Bulldogs here, folks. Nothing really doing for the Corsairs at all in this game. Scott, what did you see from the Corsairs, and what do you think they can do maybe in the second half to propel themselves?
Well, you know, it's interesting, Paul, because last week the Corsairs came back from a 14-0 deficit against LA Harbor College, and today it just doesn't look like they have that same fight in them. Same thing happened with the Allan Hancock Bulldogs last week too, respectively. But if I'm the coach of the Corsairs going in at halftime, you got to tell your players, guys, we're better than this. We came back from a deficit last week. Like, what's going on out there? You know, we need better blocking up front. We need our playmakers to make plays. We need possibly maybe shorter passes to turn out a little more yards and everything. Because this Bulldog defense is not going to back down. They're clearly the aggressor here. They're going to keep coming at them and hitting them in the mouth. As a Corsair fan, I want to see, you know, something going in the second half, like that big pass we saw earlier.
Looks like Rivers Cuomo of Weezer will be performing in Africa for our halftime show.
All right.
That's not so bad here.
You listen to Weezer, Paul?
Once or twice.
Once
or twice. What about you, Scott?
The one song I'm familiar with is Hash Pipe, which was on the American Pie soundtrack. Obviously, that movie played a huge role in all of our lives.
Absolutely. Folks, we're actually going to go down to Weezer there, and we'll pick it back up in the second half. Bulldogs lead this one 31-0. This is Paul Johnson and Scott Lieberman, folks.
See you next half.
Gentlemen, to the task at hand. Here to perform Weezer's first #1 song on the Billboard Rock Airplay chart, a cover of the 1980s hit Africa. By the way, who was around in the 1980s here? Oh, God bless you. You make me feel so old. I remember the song when it came out. I had the record, by the way. The record, you know, the vinyl that's back in swing now. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in giving a big SMC welcome to Weezer's lead singer, Rivers Cuomo!
what's deep inside. Frightened of this thing that I've become. Gonna take a lot to drive me away from you. There's nothing that 100 men or more could ever do. I guess the rain's down in Africa. Gonna take some time to do the things we never did. Early boy, she's waiting there for you. Gonna take a lot to drag me away from you. There's nothing that 100 men or more could ever do. I bless the rains down in Africa. I bless the rains down in Africa.
Give it up for Rivers Cuomo, the band!
The teams are taking the field.
We'll have the start of the second half here, folks, with the Allan Hancock Bulldogs leading it 31-0 against the Santa Monica College Corsairs. Allan Hancock will be kicking off as they received the opening kick in the first half.
What do you expect to see from this Corsair team this half, Paul?
Well, you'd expect to see to get them to their playmakers, get the ball in their hands to Dejon Everett standing back there, number 7, Trevor Nafoa, Jaden McBride, Chris Nickerson, all those guys, even Christoph Hirota. They got to do that, you'd think, Scott, to come back at all in this game.
I agree with you. As long as you rely on your playmakers to make plays, then you shouldn't have a problem winning a game. And being down by this much at this point in the game, you have no choice but to do that.
You're right on, Scott. And one thing we should keep an eye on here, folks, is who's going to come out at quarterback. You know, no points on the board, very little explosive plays in that first half. Will it be Paul Davis? Will it be Jack Farringer, the freshman that started last week? As Dejon Everett takes it out of the end zone. Good little run there by Everett.
Yards, definitely, yes.
Out to the 25-yard line. Corsairs will set up shop there. 1st and 10 for Santa Monica.
This is definitely a great way to start the half, Paul. You want a run back like that for your to set up your offense to make a potentially successful drive. And that's exactly what they need to do. It's something that they lacked in the first half. They got to fix it here. They had a little momentum going into the halftime, but let's see what they do here.
In the spread formation, give is to Christoph Hirota. He'll run right side. Good little run there for about 7 yards for the tailback.
That's Christoph Highlight Hirota, folks. The man runs a little bit like Todd Gurley with some of the jumps he's made over those defensive adversaries in the past.
These players, if they're going to be listening to this broadcast, will be loving your compliments of them. Earlier was Jaden Vargas with Barry Sanders. Now Christoph Hirota with Todd Gurley.
Well, you know what? I'm not down there taking the hits, so I can only give credit where credit is due.
Toss left side to Hirota. He stutters for a second, then goes even more down to the first down marker at the 35-yard line.
Hey, it's positive yardage, folks. Something in the first half that they lacked. This is something that they need. hopefully they can get some stuff going on this drive and get some points when they finish.
Great run there by Hirota. You saw him kind of run into a couple of Bulldog defenders, stuttered for a second, gathered his momentum, and then kept going left side for a couple extra yards. And a critical first down to start off this second half.
For sure, for sure. And he's definitely one of their playmakers. And like we said, it's the playmakers that need to make the plays this half.
Got to get the ball to them. Lined up in the offset eye. Hirota takes the pitch left side. Nothing doing there.
It's a little stagnant stop there for the Corsair offense, but don't let that deter them from what the ultimate goal is here, and that is to put the points on the board.
Tackle made there by Raymond Paulo, the 6'3" freshman safety out of Pago, Alaska for the Bulldogs. Hirota will be the tailback here, lined up to the right of Paul Davis. 2nd down and 10 for the Corsairs. Paul Davis looking left side, looking to McBride.
Oh.
McBride got his hands on that one, not able to reel it in as he did earlier this game.
That's the type of play you want from this team, but not the result you want, obviously.
Good look there, though, from Davis as he was able to get it in to McBride's hands, just not able to convert on that pass. It'll be 3rd down and long. Not what you want for the Corsairs here, Scott.
No way, no how.
Had a nice opening possession, a nice couple plays by Hirota, but now backed up. Tough 3rd down and 10.
Got to stick to the basics. Nothing fancy.
Lining up in the spread formation. Paul Davis, not even a second there.
Another sack from that Bulldog defense on 3rd down. This seems to be a continuing pattern in this game. Like, what do you do here?
Raymond Paulo there in again on the stop. That 6'3" sophomore we were just talking about, freshman. Paul Davis didn't even have a second there, Scott.
No, he did not. It's been the same old song and dance every play for this Corsair offense. They got to do something to really eliminate these negative yards and these sacks. That comes down to the offensive line.
John Ribas is on to punt for the Corsairs as Alex Ketchy is back for the Bulldogs.
Another close call on that punt.
Good punt there, and fair caught at the 45-yard line by Ketchy. Flag flies in at the end of that play.
Hey, what else is new? More flags.
More laundry on the field here at Corsair Stadium. Waiting to hear the head official's call on this. See where they'll spot it for the Bulldogs. For the Bulldogs, Scott, what do you think they're going to try to do here? Just run it right, run it left?
I honestly think for this second half, all they really need to do is run the ball. As long as they run the ball, milk the clock out a little bit by bit, they can do no wrong. Their defense is obviously holding up the score. They're holding up their end of the bargain. And as long as they're doing that, the offense just needs to run the ball and control the pace of the game and get out of here with a W.
Just give it to those big backs they have in Raheem Skinner, Jaden Vargas, and sometimes they even hand it off to little Isaac Bosley, the bruiser. They're going to back this one up for the Bulldogs here, Scott.
I'm not sure it's going to matter so much for these Bulldogs, though. They know they have complete control of this game. If the Santa Monica Corsairs want to take advantage of this, this is where you force a turnover and score the other way.
One of the first times we've seen this all game, folks. The Bulldogs will not be lining up with a fullback as the tight end comes in motion. That's Miles Minnis motioning to the left side. Flag on the play.
More laundry on the field, as my good man Paul just said.
Guzman not able to reel that one in on the screen pass from Steven Schoten.
What do we got here? There's a player down on the field, Paul, for the Bulldogs.
Looks like his ankle may have gotten rolled up on there.
Trainers come out to the field to check on him. Hopefully he's all right.
That and a flag on the play. We're still waiting on that as there is 11 minutes to go in this third quarter. Allan Hancock is leading it 31-0.
I mean, this Bulldog team has got to be thinking to itself right now, you know, this game's going by fast, and as they say, time flies when you're having fun. And they sure are having fun.
A lot of fun out there, Scott. It's fun when you're up 30 plus. I'll tell you that.
It's fun when you're up 20 plus too. Although that's a little too close for comfort in many cases in gameplay.
Rashad Beecham is able to walk off there. Rashad actually earlier caught that 25-yard touchdown pass from Steven Schoten. He looks laboring off the field, being helped a little bit by the trainer there. It'll be first down and 10. As the Bulldogs will take over at the 35-yard line. Raheem Skinner, the tailback, as the sun comes over Corsairs Stadium in Santa Monica, California. Screen pass. They get it out to Guzman. Guzman makes a couple moves. Able to get that first down.
And as you were saying, the sun coming over here and a drone over the stadium too, as I can see in the distance. Also, the moon is out. Everything's out. You couldn't have asked for a better day of football, could you, Paul?
Not at all, Scott. For homecoming weekend, it's a beautiful day here in Santa Monica. Guzman there, nice little shifty moves. They like to get him the ball in space, Scott.
Oh, yeah.
Jaden Vargas comes in at tailback. They haven't been playing the fullback here this second half. We'll see what happens. Miles Minnis comes in motion to the left side. Give is to Vargas. Huge hole there at the 45-yard line. He's running right side. Easy yards there for Jaden Vargas. Tackle on the play by Chance Thomas.
If this were fantasy football, I have to say whoever owned him on their team would be
very
drinking,
happy.
having a good time, jumping on their bed, and just, rubbing it in their opponent's face.
Have the Doritos out, maybe some salsa.
Salsa, yeah, man.
Get some Tostitos.
It's the weekend
weekend,
time
exactly.
right now.
Miles Minnis in motion to the left side as Isaac Bosley is the tailback. Minnis coming to the right side. Taps the quarterback, lets him know he's ready. Bosley right up the middle.
Bruises.
Another easy run there for the Bulldogs. Tackle made by Kyle Boyd. But after about a 18-yard gain for Allan Hancock, it'll be first down and 10 from the 20-yard line.
Yeah, I'm not so sure here now you want to just milk the clock. I mean, I think they're looking to score and really just put their foot on their neck and, close this game out early, third quarter.
8 minutes on the clock here, folks. Bulldogs are already in the red zone on their first possession of the second half. They bring in the big fullback. Bosley will still be the running back. Give is to Bosley up the right side. Nobody home there on that defensive line for the Corsairs.
I mean, at this point in the game, you got to suspect that the Bulldogs are going to run the ball. You take a look at their backfield, you got to have someone back there spying that running back and being able to take him down. But so far, no one's been able to do that for these Corsairs.
I just think that big offensive line of the Bulldogs has been way too much for Victor Rivera, Jordan Lawrence, and company on the Corsair side.
Well, we know those three running backs are going to be treating those guys to dinner tonight.
And they're spelling them. I mean, this is Bosley in for his third run in a row. We haven't even seen Skinner or Vargas. They still got two all-conference players just sitting on the bench.
That's where your depth comes into play, Paul. I mean, without depth, you got nothing.
Absolutely. And with this kind of attacking run-style motion that they run, having three consistent, good running backs is huge for this team, Scott.
Definitely. And I see these kids, going a long way with their careers after here, possibly transferring to one of the FBS schools, and eventually making their way to a possible draft for that matter.
Absolutely. Some good players out here. Give is to Bosley. He'll rumble into the end zone. Kyle Boyd not able to tackle him there.
Touchdown for these Bulldogs.
Great run there by Bosley, the bruiser.
Bosley puts hair back on your head and gets you into the end zone.
As Hector Gil Garcia will be on to attempt the point after. It's 37-0 here at Corsair Stadium.
Disclaimer, folks, that was not an ad for Bosley.
Gil Garcia, point after is good. 38-0, Allan Hancock leads it.
All right, at this point, Paul, I think when you're the Corsairs, just hope for a score of any kind, shape, or form. You know, maybe if I'm the Bulldogs, put in players who have not maybe played a lot this year.
Right.
You know, test them out a little bit, see how they do, and then make your evaluations from there. You know, they could come in next game or something like that.
Absolutely. This is a critical matchup in the American Pacific Division. As of right now, it's been all Bulldogs, looking like they'll go 2-0 in the division. Corsairs currently at 1-0 in the division with that big overtime win against Los Angeles Harbor. May fall to 1-1 here after tonight's result.
Yeah, they clearly didn't learn any lessons from that game. You got to take it play to play and impose your will, and so far today, the Corsairs have not done that. And I'm still looking for a prayer of hope for them to at least get some points on the board, minimum.
Dejan Everett and Trevor Nafoa back to receive for the Corsairs. Dejan takes it at about the 4-yard line, runs left side, cuts up a little bit.
All right, all right.
Great return there by Everett, gets it to the 35-yard line for the Corsairs. Scott, that's what you want to see, you know?
That's what you want to see, but unfortunately this offense hasn't been able to do much in terms of moving the ball today. And the one time they had it in the Bulldogs' side of the field, they moved backwards, back to the 50, and they were able to get no such luck out of it.
You're exactly right. They just haven't been able to do enough, haven't been able to muster enough plays in a row on that offensive side of the ball. As Paul Davis comes out at quarterback. Isaiah Brown, first action of the game, comes in at tailback as they line up in the I formation. Trevor Nafoa comes in motion. Give is to Nafoa on the end around. Nafoa rumbles forward for about 12 yards, loses the ball at the end, but hops on it.
Excuse me, recovers.
Good little end around there for Nafoa. Coming around left side.
Yeah, so this is definitely great field position for these Corsairs here, Paul. I think you know, they got to do something with it now. I mean, they're pretty much likely to lose this game, but I see a prayer of hope right here to possibly put some points on this board, like we've been saying.
Brown, the ball carrier here. Looks like his helmet got a little...
What do you know? More laundry on the field.
Scott, that was about 4 flags. I didn't know there's that many referees out there.
Well, it is Saturday, and Saturday is laundry day, and it's... Oh, and another flag just dropped, too. And another. How many flags we got out there?
We got 4 out there, Scott. We got...
I just saw some more flags popping in.
They're coming in from all angles here, folks. We'll see what the referees decide.
Thought my eyes were deceiving me.
Right now it's 2nd down and 10 for the Corsairs, but that could be aided. Looks like
face mask, defense.
On the defense. So all the refs saw that one.
All right, and if I'm Santa Monica College, I have no excuse not to score on this drive. You got the momentum going into this one. You know, make something happen here. It's homecoming. Make your fans, like, really proud and stand up and cheer.
Big 15-yard penalty there, Scott. Ordeon plus territory at the 38-yard line. It'll be 1st down and 10. Isaiah Brown, the tailback, at the 45-yard line. Give is to Brown up the middle. Churns through those Bulldog defenders for about 4 tough yards.
Looking like a promising drive, Paul. Let's hope they can continue with this movement in the ball.
End up giving him about 6 on that. It'll be 2nd down and 4 for the Corsairs. Good run there from Brown, spelling Hirota. Taking a page out of the Bulldog playbook there, giving your running backs a little bit of rest.
That's what they've been doing all day, running up the middle.
As they line up in the spread formation, Paul Davis looks right, just nothing there.
Penetrates through that line, and another sack for the Bulldogs.
Angelo Ortiz on the sack. Angelo Ortiz, one of the better Bulldog defenders, linebacker out of William Penn High School, big hitter. has 54 tackles on the year coming into today.
I think this offensive line for the Corsairs is a little tired at this point. I mean, the defense is really just coming through and making their hits and getting those sacks. They've had at least 1 or 2 sacks per drive, I think, from this Corsair or on this Corsair offense.
It'll be 3rd down and 12 from the 40-yard line. Jaden McBride to the top of your screen.
Another
Flag on the
flag.
play. Looks like a false start. That'll back up the Corsairs. Unfortunate for their Santa Monica College.
This
Delay
is
of
what
game.
we were saying earlier. They're self-destructing. And when a team does that, you have no chance at winning or putting points on the board or creating any sort of positive momentum.
Scott, you had that first down run from Isaiah Brown for 6 yards, got you to 2nd and 4. You're in a very good position there. Took a sack and then have a delay of game, and now you're backed up at a 3rd and 17.
You can't have that happen. And delay of game usually comes down to coaching too. I mean, it's your time management, and if something's going to happen, you got to call a timeout if need be.
We'll see if Santa Monica College can do anything here. Paul Davis checking at the line, 3rd down and 17. Looks right side to J-John Everett on the slant route. Everett caught it at the 35-yard line, but just still short of that 1st down marker.
Positive yards nonetheless.
They're keeping the offense out there. They're just going to say, Paul, this is you. You got to get this 1st down, bub.
You got to. I don't care if it's 1st, 2nd, 3rd, or 4th. You need to make something happen on this drive, particularly.
Especially with the scoreboard looking the way it is, Scott, 38-0. You got to make something happen here. Bulldog defensive line looks hungry. Looks like they're coming with extra defenders. They do. Corsairs pick it up. Go out to McBride. McBride with a phenomenal catch at the 10-yard line.
There we go. Best field position of the day for these Corsairs.
Picks up the 1st down with a big catch there by Jaden McBride. Great pass by Paul Davis as well. They'll have it 1st and 10 at the 11-yard line.
And they're going into the sunset, too, literally on this field. I don't think there's anything more romantic than catching a touchdown pass in the sunset.
I think Dejan Everett will take a little fade route here to the top of the end zone. Dejan at the bottom of your screen, number 7. Paul Davis hands off to Isaiah Brown. Not much doing there. Gain of maybe a yard.
Isaiah Brown, the carry for Santa Monica College. Pick up number 2.
Certainly a beautiful day for a touchdown.
Down by number 15.
Will be about 2nd down and 9. Corsairs can still get a 1st down before reaching the end zone.
2nd and 8.
It's going to be tough sledding down here, Scott. Defense can pack it in, only have to worry about so much of the open grass. We'll see what happens here on 2nd down. Trevor Nafoa comes in motion to the right side. Paul Davis under center. Toss right to Isaiah Brown. Isaiah Brown!
Oh, it's a fumble!
Fumbles into the end zone.
Oh, no. Is that a touchback?
I think they're going to call that one a touchback, as I think the Corsair player, Trevor Nafoa, was out of the end zone when he recovered it.
That is not what you want as a Corsair. You get into the end zone only to fumble the ball through the end zone. These referees look like they're going to take a look at this.
Brown was at about the 2-yard line, was going to get into the end zone, had that one jarred loose, a big hit there. And it looked like Trevor Nafoa recovered it, but it
he was
out of bounds.
Too little, too late, yeah.
Tough there for Santa Monica College if they're not able to convert on that. Referees still discussing at the back of the end zone. Some Corsairs want that touchdown. I don't blame them.
Referees taking a look at it, negotiating, talking to each other.
This is a big play here, as some Corsair coaches and players are signaling touchdown, but don't know if that's going to be the call.
Well, the ball has to cross the plane, Paul, and the ball carrier has to have possession of that ball as they cross the plane and not lose control whatsoever. And if it happened before the plane was crossed,
will be called a touchback there. Very unfortunate for the Corsairs, as the Bulldogs will take it at the 25-yard line.
That was the best chance they had all day, and gravity just took it the other way.
Tough to see there for Isaiah Brown, the ball carrier, but he just wasn't able to get it in the end zone. Bulldogs will actually take over at the 20-yard line. Stephen Schoten is the quarterback, and Raheem Skinner will be trailing him at tailback. Folks, if you weren't with us earlier, we mentioned that Thomas Carr, starting quarterback that has been starting for Allan Hancock all season, went out late last week against Pasadena City, and then in that overtime did not play. So Stephen Schoten has been the quarterback all day, and Scott, he's been
showing no signs of slowing down. I mean, do we have a quarterback controversy on our hands?
You know, I don't know if we can go there yet. Thomas Carr, a big old boy, 6'3", 225 freshman. But Schoten has shown his worth.
Schoten has shown up.
Had a few nice passes, that touchdown pass to the big tight end, and a few good scrambles. Here is Schoten under center. Pass out there. Looks like Ramirez got that ball lost in the sun there, Scott.
One of the very few mistakes that the Bulldogs have made today. Looks
It'll
like we
bring
got
up second down
about
and 10.
a minute and a half or a little bit more left in this third quarter here.
Bulldogs still lead at 38-0. As they bring in a new tailback who hasn't seen action yet all game, Eddie Battle, 6'1" freshman out of McDonough, Georgia. Came all the way out to play some ball. He'll take the handoff, run right up the middle for a decent-sized gain of 23 yards.
Now it seems they have four possible running backs that could, be commanding this committee.
Very effective committee, and Battle, that fourth running back that Scott just mentioned. The freshman out of Georgia, we haven't seen much of him, but that was a good-looking run there as Jaden Vargas gets back in the game. J.J. Ramirez and Pierre Mudaru will be at the bottom of your screen as wide receivers. Vargas, the tailback. Schoten under center on first down and 10 from the 46-yard line. Vargas, nothing doing there on the defensive line. Penetration from the Corsairs. Run for about 15 easy yards there, Scott.
You know, I'm going to start calling this kid Vargas Fargas because he just gets far every run that he takes.
He was untouched 10 yards into that run.
Shows no signs of slowing down this game. He just keeps getting better, and it looks like he's going to the sideline for this particular play.
Just keep bringing him in, taking him out. Bringing him in as Skinner comes in, taking him out. Raheem Skinner, the big back, leading this team with 725 rushing yards coming in.
My money says they run the ball here.
With just about 20 seconds left in this third quarter, Skinner does get the carry. Nobody even touches him. Skinner's going to take. Skinner almost broke it outside. Down, stopped at the 9-yard line. As Miles Minnis is laying flat down at the 45-yard line. Not a sight you want to see after that big Skinner run. Scott, it's tough to say, but after that missed touchdown, touchback, Bulldogs are just running right through the Corsair defense.
Yeah, it's pretty much been the story for today. Nothing doing for these Corsairs today. And the Bulldogs have been taking advantage of every opportunity that they've had.
You wonder if the Bulldogs can muster something here if the Corsairs can muster something here as the Bulldogs have it at first and goal at the 9-yard line. Will be tough. 4 seconds to go in this third quarter as Miles Minnis is helped off with the assistance of 2 trainers. Minnis, one of their great blocking tight ends for that Bulldog offense.
Yeah, it looks like he's not able to walk on that foot, hence the training staff taking him off the field. Hopefully he's all right. But this Bulldog team is nothing shy of having depth. So I feel like next man up is what they're going to bring to the table, and they'll be successful at it.
Big tight end Rashad Beecham, who caught that earlier touchdown pass, is one of the next man up that will take the place of Minnis for this Bulldog offense. And that's the end of the third quarter, folks. Bulldogs lead it 38-0 as we switch sides of the field one more time.
Allan Hancock on top of this one, 38-0.
Scott, this being the final quarter of this homecoming game, what would you like to see from the Corsair side of the ball?
At this point, I'm hoping for just a score on the board. The way they've been getting dominated this game has just been nothing short of, it's kind of embarrassing. You know, when you perform in front of your crowd during homecoming, you want a good performance overall. But the way the Bulldogs have been able to take advantage of this game, especially on the ground, the way they have, Corsairs just need to come back and do something to get a score. They seem to pass the ball all right on the last drive, and that worked for them. Aside from the fumble outside of the end zone, they were moving the ball all right, and I think if they continue doing the same thing on this drive, they can make something happen.
Bulldogs have just been showing their might all game long with that big offensive line, just bruising the defensive line and linebackers of the Corsair side. Eddie Battle in as the tailback, as they'll get in a fullback here. Give him a little lead blocker. Steven Schoten under center. First down and goal for the Bulldogs.
I thought you were just coming to enjoy the show, and I was like, what are they going to be doing this for? Okay, I'll let you go now.
Give is to the fullback. Stopped right about the 8-yard line. Second down and goal.
And I don't see the Bulldogs kicking a field goal on this drive either. Should they not get the ball in the end zone by fourth down, they would probably go for it.
They do have a good kicker in Hector Gil Garcia. We'll see if we get there. But, Scott, it's only second down. We've got two tough plays ahead of us. As Eddie Battle will stay as the tailback. Quentin Faison will be the fullback leading him in that offset eye. Toss is to Battle, right side. Battle's going to run to the corner. Stop just short of the end zone.
Right at the pylon.
Looked like
the next
ball
play
may have come out late there.
I'm looking for the next play to be right up the middle, bump in the end zone, as they've rumbled in each time today.
Scott, it looks surprisingly like they're going to keep Battle in there. Battle a little bit more of a shifty back, standing at 6'1", 185, a little slimmer than that Raheem Skinner 225, but they're going to keep Battle in here.
Well, his name is Battle for a reason. He keeps battling, and he's going to battle his way into the end zone more than likely here if history repeats itself from what we've seen today.
Third down and goal. Quentin Faison is the fullback with Eddie Battle at tailback. Flag on the play. As the head ump, I believe there would just be no flag called on that play. Still third down and goal for the Bulldogs. Steven Schoten under center and Eddie Battle still the running back. Schoten will hand it right off to Battle. Battle gets into the end zone for a 2-yard touchdown there.
Oh, yeah.
Allan Hancock puts it in the end zone one more time as they're up 44-0.
With the point after, it would be 45.
Hector Gil Garcia on to attempt the point after.
Again, number 16, Logan Armstrong holding.
Good fight there from Battle to get in the end zone. Looked like he was stopped just short for a second, but then ran through that defensive line of the Corsairs and got in for the touchdown. Gil Garcia, point after is good.
Not quite in the parking lot.
And the Bulldogs lead this one 45-0.
Your score, Allan Hancock 45 and Santa Monica College 0.
At this point and after this game, if you're a Bulldogs fan, you got to be pretty confident going into your next game.
You're absolutely right, Scott. I mean, after getting that overtime win against a good team in Pasadena College last week, coming back from 14 down in that game and then getting this resounding victory on homecoming weekend for Santa Monica College, coming into their house, currently beating them 45-0. Scott, that's domination.
Yes, it looks like Allan Hancock will be playing Santa Barbara after this on Military Appreciation Day, Saturday, October 27th.
Corsairs will try to get back in the winning ways themselves as they travel to Pasadena City for another tough road division game there. It's going to be tough sledding for the Corsairs as Trevor Nafoa gets the return. Takes it right side, running down at about the 30-yard line as a flag flies in. Tackle made by Alex Ketchy. Flag flew in late there.
Sun is setting here on Santa Monica College's Corsair Stadium campus, folks. It's a beautiful day. Not a beautiful score, but a beautiful day nonetheless, and you really got to appreciate the nature around you.
Ref's just going to pick up that flag. No foul harm on the play. Corsairs will take over at the 31-yard line. It'll be first down and 10. Paul Davis still coming out for the Corsairs at quarterback, and Christoph Hirota, the tailback. Bulldogs shifting their defensive line as Davis gives it to Hirota, run right side. Hirota with some tough yards, scampers to about the 41-yard line.
Certainly worked for those yards.
Hirota comes up looking fine. May come out here.
Looks like he's limping a little off the field there, Paul.
Yeah, it looks like goes down on the sideline. Not looking good for Christoph Hirota there. The tailback out of Bellevue, Washington, a good one for the Corsairs. Raymond Washington will come in to spell him. No sign of Isaiah Brown, who let go of the ball just before the end zone, last possession. Give is to Raymond Washington. Stacked up at the 38-yard line by a host of Bulldog defenders.
Tried taking another page out of the Bulldog playbook by running it up the middle there, but failed to do so.
Number 39, Raymond Paolo, has been all over the field for that Allan Hancock defense, folks. Making plays in the backfield, tackles for loss, sacks. He's a good one for Allan Hancock.
Keep an eye out for that, man, folks.
Paul Davis looking for the call from the sideline, switches things up last minute. Pass left side.
Oh, nearly picked off.
Intended receiver was Trevor Nafoa, not able to connect with him there. As Dominique Chapa almost had a play on that ball, but not able to get to it at the end of the day.
So do you think Santa Monica College is tired at this point, Paul, or what's going through their minds? Are they just trying to get this game over with?
I think they're trying to get some yards here, Scott. That's all they want. Maybe eke out a first down here. Paul Davis under center. Screen pass out to Dejan Avert. Avert makes a play, eludes some tacklers, but then is stopped down at the 47-yard line by a host of Bulldog defenders.
He's certainly one of their playmakers, but he has not made many plays today. Each time he's gotten the ball, though, he's made a few positive yards out of it, if nothing else.
I like the call there. Just get it out to one of your playmakers real quick. Put him in there on that island with the defensive back and see if he can make a play. And he did on that play. He broke some ankles, able to get 6-7 yards, setting up a 4th down and short, about 4th and 3 for the Corsairs. Raymond Washington in the backfield with Paul Davis as they are in the spread formation. Paul Davis looks right side.
Oh, looks like it's a pass interference on the Bulldogs.
Intended receiver was number 87, Brandon Collins. But, Scott, you're right. I think defensive back got there just a little early. Referees are discussing that one. This would be big for the Corsairs, Scott, on a 4th down, and they do get the first down on that pass interference.
Pass interference against Allan Hancock.
Big
Yes, they
first down
do.
there, Scott.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if it's going to change the course of this game, which most likely not, but it's definitely giving them some glimmer of hope to move the ball down and this time get those points that they've been desirably needing for the whole game.
No, you're absolutely right. It's not going to affect the course of this game with it being 45-0, but heading into Pasadena City, they need to get some momentum for that big division road game. It's going to be a tough one. Good to see Christoph Hirota in the backfield again. He limped off earlier this drive, but looks to be all clear.
He's a true warrior. Stoppage of play for a moment.
A little confusion there down on the field of play. Paul Davis is under center. It would be 1st down and 10 for the Corsairs. Christoph Hirota runs it left side. Stuttered for a second in the backfield when he saw about 3 Bulldog defenders right there, and then tried to get left side for a couple yards. We'll get 2 yards on that play.
Yeah, any positive yards on this drive or any other drive for the remainder of the game are good yards for these Corsairs. And I think the Bulldogs are pretty much just waiting for this clock to run out, given the score in the game.
Bulldogs have been playing stout on defense all day long. Paul Davis in shotgun, looking right side, looking to Everett.
Oh!
Dejan Everett. Big catch there, tackled at the 20-yard line. It'll be 1st down for the Corsairs.
Folks, we've been preaching it all game. That's one of your playmakers, Dejan Everett, number 7. Remember the name, remember the number. He is making plays. Each time he's had the ball today, he's made positive yards. If only they started out the game this way and, made those types of plays throughout the game, this may be a different score.
Absolutely, as the Corsairs will have it in the red zone at the 20-yard line. 1st down and 10. Give is to Hirota. Raymond Paolo in the backfield in a moment's notice there to stop Hirota for a loss of 2 on that play. It'll be 2nd down and 11 for the Corsairs. Isaiah Brown's going to, that's Raymond Washington that's going to step in for Hirota. Paul Davis comes out in the shotgun formation, spread out wide.
Number 7 up top on the left
Dejan
side.
Everett. They're going to throw the fade to Everett. Everett hits the hands. Not able to reel that one in. Close call there, Scott, as that one touched the tips of Everett's hands, but not able to reel it in inbounds.
It did, and I think maybe if you possibly try him on an in route on the next one and throw it up, may produce different results. But it looks like he is jogging off the field right now.
I think that's what I'd tell Dejan as well if I were the quarterback, if I were Paul Davis. Hey, go run to the post. I'll get you the ball.
Exactly.
Corsairs need a conversion here on a critical 3rd down and 11. Paul Davis steps back to pass. No time at all.
Eludes.
But he gets away from some tacklers. Not able to get away from all of them as Jordan Bowden trails him out of bounds at the 25-yard line. That'll bring up 4th down and long, and it looks like the offense is just going to stay out there. Coach is going to tell him,
You score, you ain't going home tonight, guys.
yeah, I need a 1st down from you guys. Get this one in the end zone.
Oh, yeah.
15 yards to a 1st down.
4th down and 15 for the Corsairs.
No.
As there is a timeout on the field by Santa Monica College. They want to talk this one over, folks. A big play here. Scott, like we were saying earlier in this drive, it may not mean much for this game, but they would love some momentum going into that road division game against Pasadena City. Would be nice to see.
Definitely. Breaking news, folks. The LA Dodgers are currently beating the Milwaukee Brewers 2-1 Bottom of the third in Milwaukee. This is Game 7 primetime television. For all of you out there who are Dodgers fans, which most of you in this area are, I'm sure. And as you were saying earlier, Paul, yes, these Bulldogs got to have all the momentum in the world right now. When you shut another team out, there is no reason to have any doubts going into another game, no matter who you're playing. I don't care who you're playing, whether it's the best team in the conference or the worst team. You go into that with that same mentality because you're playing for the here and now, and the here and now says 45-0.
You're right on, Scott. Corsairs need something here. Raymond Washington is the tailback. Referees asking them to bump the clock up a couple seconds, give the Corsairs a little bit of time. Paul Davis will be in the shotgun on this, 4th down and 15. Davis looking right side to Dejan Everett, had him at the 5-yard line, streaking into the end zone.
He was wide open, too. He overthrew him. It looks like Everett is not happy with that pass. He's coming off, moving his arms off the field. There's just some miscommunication going on right there.
And a great route there by Everett to elude the defender. Was running wide open into that end zone. Scott not able to hit him on the play.
Everett does not look that happy.
Bulldogs will take over at the 25-yard line. It'll be 1st down and 10. Eddie Battle is the running back. Stephen Schoten still under center for the Bulldogs.
And they still run the ball.
No surprise there, Scott, as they're just trying to churn this clock as we hit 9 minutes to go in the 4th quarter. Bulldogs leading it 45-0. Will be 2nd and 7 for the Bulldogs. Battle still the tailback. Has a big fullback ahead of him in Johnny Aviles, the 5'9", 230-pound fullback out of Paso Robles, California. Screen pass out to the left side.
Works out in Bulldogs' favor, and they keep getting a few more yards out of that one.
Elijah Fields with a great run and catch. Down to the 44-yard line. As we see Jordan Lawrence on that tackle. I haven't heard his name a lot, unfortunately, today, and that's what we needed from that Corsair defense to hear Jordan Lawrence, Victor Rivera's name, Antonio Blade. Just haven't heard it a lot today. Jelani Blade, excuse me.
Jelani Blade, yes. I mean, that's a name where you got to live up to the reputation of Blade.
Run right side is to Isaac Bosley. Bosley breaks it out to the numbers, and there's a flag that comes in late. Bosley's down at about the 33-yard line.
Let's see what they call here, folks.
I think they're going to bring this one back, Scott. Looks to be holding on the offense, but we'll see what the referee calls.
Number 56 is hurting a little bit for those Corsairs.
That is Alexander Astorius, the defensive end, freshman out of West Adams Prep.
He comes over to the sideline to take a breather.
I'd want a breather too, man. They got these running backs. They're just mixing them in. We haven't even seen Skinner in a while now. They got Battle, they got Bosley, they got Vargas.
That's a dangerous three-headed back, as we've seen here today. And the cheerleaders are keeping up that school spirit despite the score. You gotta love that.
They're the hardest workers out here, Scott.
I agree with you, Paul.
Bulldogs will take it at the 47-yard line. Looks like there's a little confusion with the Chains team. Referees trying to get that all handled. They're figuring it out.
We got a whistle here, folks, before the play. Seems to be a little more confusion down on the field.
As you see that backup fullback, Johnny Aviles, like we just mentioned, 5'9", 230-pound. He'll create a hole for you. I'd run behind him, stay on his butt, and go whichever way he doesn't. Battle takes the handoff, goes left side, makes a man miss.
And he's carrying the pack with him. Look at that run.
Great run there by Battle down to the 31-yard line for a Bulldog first down.
Number 22, Kendrick Field on the stop.
Took about 3 Corsairs to take him down there, Scott.
You saw 3. I saw like 5 on top of him, it looked like. He's like a Mack truck.
And Scott, this is just the shifty back, the 6'1", 185 Eddie Battle, running through tackles.
He's just making these smart moves. He's strong with his legs.
First down at the 33-yard line for the Bulldogs. Schoten under center. Schoten faked it there to Avilas. Looked like they were trying to run a little option to Battle, but great play there by the Corsair defensive lineman to nullify that. It'll bring up second down and 8 as Isaac Bosley comes in for the Bulldogs.
Bosley with the last touchdown for these Bulldogs.
Clock is running, folks. Just under 7 minutes here at Corsair Stadium. The give is to Bosley right up the middle. Bounces it outside. But great tackle there by Jason Smith on the stop. Not letting Bosley.
Correction, folks, that was Battle who had the last touchdown, not Bosley. However, Bosley did have a touchdown today, and a mighty fine one at that.
It'll be third down. About 6 to go for the Bulldogs. Eddie Battle in the backfield. Elijah Fields at the top of your screen, but I don't think they're going there. I think they're going to say, Eddie Battle, take us to the promised land. Let's get a first down. Pitch out to Battle, right side. Racing down the right side of the field, down to about the 19-yard line for Eddie Battle. Good run there for a first down. As we'll see another running back come in, Scott. This is the 5th one we've seen, Qualik Davis.
Bring him on. You know, at this point, I think we could go down to the field and run for these Bulldogs and have some sort of success. What do you think?
Scott, I'll give you some pads and a helmet. Go down there.
I'd be more than happy to.
Qualik Davis, the freshman running back, gets the carry.
Oh,
Scampers through the line and left side. Qualik's going to run into the end zone for a Bulldog score.
That's their 5th running back today, folks. You don't see that kind of stuff these days. That is just something else. They're just showing off their entire team today.
This Bulldog team is running roughshod over the Corsairs, up 51-0.
This game has gotten out of hand.
Qualik Davis, that freshman running back out of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. I used to go skiing there when I was a kid. Ski Liberty.
As Hector Gil Garcia is on to attempt the point after. Make it a clean 52-0 for the Bulldogs. Not a lot here doing for Santa Monica College. Just over 5 minutes to go in this game. Let's see if they can probably got one more drive in them. Put something together.
I'm thinking at this point, if you get into field goal range, possibly kick it, make it a somewhat respectable score.
Hey, they still got Dejan Everett, Trevor Nafoa back there. They still got their...
Give your Ferrari the keys, you know?
Exactly. You gotta like the upcoming schedule for Allan Hancock, taking on Santa Barbara at home. You go to L.A. Pierce, but then play L.A. Harbor at home for that final division game on the year, November 10th.
Yeah, I mean, you got to win out at this point, and just hope the cards fall into your place.
Especially after losing the American Pacific Bowl last year, they definitely want that American Pacific title, and a bowl win would be huge for this team and Coach Chris Dutra. Chris in his 18th season at the helm. Logan Armstrong with the kick.
Looks like that's going out of bounds.
Great play there by Nafoa, just to watch it for a second. Let it slip out of bounds. Let's get this ball at the 35-yard line, as that'll be a flag on the kicking team.
Santa Monica College Corsairs women's volleyball defeated West LA yesterday 3-1. The women will be back in the pavilion Wednesday, October 24th, taking on LA Mission.
Scott, it looks like Paul Davis is still going to trot out there at quarterback, not even thinking about Jack Farringer, the backup, who played a little bit last week.
You know, the coach has that much faith in his quarterback. You just got to keep rolling with him. He hasn't quite hit his breaking point.
Raymond Washington is the tailback. Screen pass right to Trevor Nafoa, nothing doing there. Tackled down at the line of scrimmage by Henry Chance, the safety.
You know something, Paul? You can't coach speed, and when your defense has the speed like this Bulldog defense, there's no stopping them. Because speed gets you to the ball and makes tackles and makes plays.
Absolutely, just an aggressive defense that pursues the ball. See ball, go to ball, hit player. That's
Exactly.
what they're running there on that Allan Hancock
Like I
side.
said before, KISS, keep it simple, stupid.
Right.
And keep on hitting.
Paul Davis under center. Pitch left to Raymond Washington. Raymond Washington fights forward for about 2. We'll bring up third down for the Corsairs.
And just under 4.5 minutes left to go in this game, folks. 52-0 Bulldogs.
Scott, you think they'll give us a little shot maybe out to one of the playmakers here, or what do you think happens on this third down?
Well, I see our man Everett's in the game, and if I'm the quarterback of this Corsair team, I'm throwing to him all day. It's clear that he's gotten open, but the passes, he's just been overthrown.
Single high safety as they walk up the other strong safety. Davis scrambles right, eludes Raymond Paolo, throws a knuckler down. It'll just stop down at the 45-yard line harmlessly. Looks like that one just got caught up in the wind and went in whatever direction it wanted to.
Yeah.
Tough to see as a quarterback, may have had your man and then nothing doing on that pass there from Davis. Will be fourth down for the Corsairs.
And just to paint a picture for you folks, what we have out here is like a painting surrounding this stadium. The visibility is clear, the lights are out, the moon is out. Beautiful multicolored sky on the horizon. Nothing beats that. And a game of football under the lights.
John Ribas will be the punter. Alex Ketchy is back deep for the Bulldogs to receive this one down at the 35-yard line. Bulldogs come after it.
I think fair catch, and I think every punt that they've made today, at least one Bulldog has almost made a block. Is that correct?
Yeah, Dominic King was about a hair and a half away from blocking that kick, maybe taking that into the Santa Monica end zone himself. Ribas able to get it away, though. Bulldogs will set up shop at the 39-yard line. We have a little bit of a quarterback change on the Bulldogs side. Matt Garcia, the big old 6'4", 225-pounder freshman out of Santa Maria, California, under center. Gives it to Battle. Battle runs left side for about 4.
3.5 minutes to go, folks, in this fourth quarter. 52-0 Bulldogs.
As Isaac Bosley will come in to spell battle. Funny that we don't see Qualik Davis here, Scott. We saw him one carry of the game, touchdown. Hey, that's efficiency.
That is efficiency. Just get them out while they're hot, right?
Exactly. Matt Garcia just milking the clock here. He'll be under center in the I formation. Give his to Bosley. Bosley takes it up the middle for about 3.
Bosley, the bulldozer, goes up the middle, gets a few yards out of that, and the clock keeps on ticking.
I mean, Bosley playing third string running back for this team. as we mentioned earlier in the broadcast, Scott, Bosley was an all-Pacific second-teamer last year, and they got him as a third-string running back. Unbelievable.
That goes to show the depth of this team. They are built for greatness, and that's exactly what they brought to the table today.
Clock is running as quarterback Matt Garcia is in no rush to hike. Offensive line gets down. Give is to Battle up the middle. He'll get the first down with ease. Tackle made by Demond Weidman Jr.
Just shy of 2 minutes left in this game, and the Bulldogs continue to milk that clock down to the final 0, and they're going to walk out of here with a definite statement victory.
A resounding win, Scott. Big-time victory for this Bulldog team after the overtime win against Pasadena City.
Especially the levity of the game being in conference.
In conference, on the road, on a homecoming night for this Corsair team. Battle pushes the pile ahead for about 6 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 4 for the Bulldogs. It's going to be a timeout, injury
down
timeout.
On the field. Cannot see through the staff and some of the players who that may be. Looks like number 54.
Looks like Michael Strong there down for the Corsairs, Scott. Gets up, though.
All right, able to walk off this field.
Minus a right shoe, but he'll carry that.
Yeah.
Looks like ankle may have
we've
gotten rolled
all
up.
lost our shoe every now and then in our life, right?
There he is, Qualik Davis, back in the game here at tailback. That big fullback Johnny Avila still playing the lead blocker position for the Bulldogs. They're just milking that clock. Give is to Davis. He takes it out. He's hungry. Takes it out for a first down, 6-yard run.
Feet. And he goes out of the game, or is he staying in? He doesn't know what he was doing. There. Nope. He's coming.
He'll stay in there.
He's staying in the game.
Finish off this game, Qualik Davis.
Just under a minute left in this game, folks. We got a 52-0 score for those of you who just tuned in. AHC Bulldogs 52, SMC Corsairs 0. And victory formation precedes itself.
Best formation you can see as a team if you're on that Bulldog side.
Oh, yeah.
Hard-fought game here on both sides, but the Bulldogs take this one with ease. 52-0.
Yeah, that was a one-sided game. As much effort as both teams gave it, it felt like more of a lopsided game. Both teams are currently shaking hands to show the sign of true great sportsmanship. I really loved what I saw from the Bulldogs today. I mean, they definitely go into their next game with a lot of confidence. Definitely a lot of notes to take for the Corsairs. They need maybe an extra day of practice this week or an extra hour of practice just to come back and put some points on the board in their next game.
Yeah, absolutely. Try to regain some momentum. They had that big overtime win against the Los Angeles Harbor last week, but just nothing there tonight, was there?
It did not seem that way, but nonetheless, did not take away the enjoyability of this game from the fans or the cheerleaders, which kept their school spirit up, and we'll see what they do next week.
Yep, absolutely. It was a great homecoming weekend at Corsair Stadium. Bulldogs take this one 52-0 against the Corsairs. For my broadcast partners, Scott Lieberman, and all the crew helping out tonight, I'm Paul Johnson. You have a great one out there, folks.
Thank you.
We'll see you next time on Corsair Sports TV.